What is up, YouTube? Welcome to Panfro Games. In today's video, we got some more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet rumors to discuss. In today's rumor, we're going to be talking about the starter evolutions, the second stage. Apparently, we're going to be seeing them on Wednesday, and I want to break it all down for you guys right here. And of course, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like the video. I really appreciate it. This rumor begins with Leak. So this is not from Riddler, Ku, or Kaka, but Leak says here, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet news on Wednesday this week. Not 100% sold on it, but yeah. And then they say, source says middle evolutions for starter Pokemon. Let's hope they are right because there's actual some credibility. I got my copium ready though, just in case. So I don't disagree that I do believe there will be a trailer this Wednesday, because when we look at the release schedule, we are now about 6-7 weeks away from the games, right? This is the first week of October. This is a great way to start the hype cycle for this month, and Pokemon has always been releasing trailers on Wednesday. Pretty much every trailer has released on Wednesday, or if the main trailer was on a Thursday, there was a preview on Wednesday. So this is what they did with Wiglet. This is what they did with Graphite as well. Another big thing is we haven't had a big Scarlet and Violet trailer for a couple weeks now. The last one was pretty short, so I feel like it is time to show off some big things, and starter evolutions would be considered a big thing. I would also consider showing us maybe the Paradox forms, the Pokemon camp, and how breeding is going to work, and maybe some more gym leaders or story elements as well. But if we're going with this source here that's saying we're going to see evolutions of the starters, then that's going to be massive for the marketing. So I want to believe in that, because truly I want to know what these starters are going to end up looking like. Well, I can't predict the future. However, hindsight is 2020, and we can look at what happened during these Sword and Shield leaks to see, did they ever officially reveal the middle evolution Pokemon before the games came out? And when we look at an article here from Polygon here, we can see that Pokemon Sword and Shield starter evolutions may have leaked. This is on November 1st of 2019. I believe that game came out around the middle of November. I don't have the exact date. I want to say November 18th as well, or somewhere around there. But essentially on Twitter, it showed the evolved forms of Sobble and Grookey, and it was actually their shiny forms, which was really funny. I remember in the big leak scene back then that I was putting out a lot of leaks on Twitter that these were actually the shiny forms, and everyone thought the regular forms were the shiny forms. It was a big funny thing in the moment. But this is how we found out about the middle evolutions. We did not find out about them officially until later in the month, and actually by then we already had the data mine, so it didn't even matter. So are we really expecting middle evolutions to be shown off this soon, the first week of October, when historically, if we're going to see something like this, it's probably going to be by a leak or a data mine later in the year, probably first week of November, second week of November. And then a few days later, we ended up seeing the final forms of the starters as well. So pretty much once we see those middle forms of the starters, that is most likely when the data mine is going to happen, which means the game is going to be out in the wild. So we're looking at that first week of November being a pivotal point, and of course I'll be covering all the leaks in full of all the Pokemon. So I'm sort of casting some doubt on a trailer showing off the middle evolutions this early, but who knows, they can always change their marketing plans. But I still think it is worth exploring a little bit deeper. Now, there may or may not be a trailer this Wednesday or soon about the starters evolutions, but we do know that these starters are going to be pretty good overall, and because there is a lot of leaks around them already. So going from the top, Sprigatito here, we know is going to become a grass and dark type Pokemon. We also know is going to become a magician, and not like a mage like Finnegan's line, like Delphox, not like a Harry Potter wizard, but more like an entertainer, more like, you know, someone who's having fun, you know, someone who's like doing jokes and magic tricks. So that's what Sprigatito's looking like, and is actually from Centro confirms this as well. Sprigatito's evolution is going to be a magician Pokemon, like a top hat magician, and Quaxly's evolution is going to be the dancer Pokemon, similar to this type of dancer down here, something you would see at like Carnival in Brazil, right? But we actually do have a leaked image of Sprigatito's final form right here. This is not the middle form. This is actually the final form, and it is looks like it's wearing like a masquerade mask. You can see little points there. Potentially could be a flower too. And notice how the color palette has changed from green to black and pink, which I think is really cool. Sort of like a flower, and it has like that flower crown, neck thing, sort of similar to how jesters, you know, in the court would have this sort of outfit. So it has sort of a jester magician vibe to it, which is apparently very interesting. And it is grass and dark, so I can totally see why it is dark. And now for my personal pick, my favorite of three is Fuecoco. Fuecoco since day one. However, I am really worried about him. I'm going to be real. I'm 100% worried about him because we have not seen that much information about him. But we do know his hidden ability is not that good or crazy. And I am actually thinking it's going to be something about gluttony because he is eating a lot of food. I mean, look at him. He's all chubby going for food. It's going to be something about gluttony or something about berries. I can definitely see that being his hidden ability. We also know that Fuecoco is a fire and a ghost type. And his whole thing is about the feather on its head. So this is actually a feather. This is not a stem of a ghost pepper, but it is a feather. And when it evolves, it becomes an egg. And then the final form, it actually becomes a bird. And he has this flaming bird on his head. And funny enough, Fuecoco ends up being a singer of the three. So we got a dancer, we got a magician, and we got a singer. And it makes sense. I mean, they're all very similar, like entertaining types of Pokemon. And the starters are usually in some sort of theme-based thing. I mean, we saw it in Galar as well. We see in pretty much most gens. And the hint for Fuecoco that we heard from Centro and Riddler Coup here was the egg, but there was some other stuff about it. Honestly, though, not too much, but if you dive a little bit deeper into Fuecoco, we actually know that there is a Peruvian god of death. It's like this iguana man who lives underground. And essentially, he's a lizard man and he has a rooster on his head. So this may be the motif. I mean, he's firing ghosts, right? So you can get the death from that easily because it's a ghost type and it's a lizard. Fuecoco's a lizard, has a bird on its head, has a bird. I think this is a very good representation. I mean, hey, it's like, yes, it is in Spain, but you know, Spain did take over a lot of areas. Also, Portugal took over a lot of areas in South America as well. So it's not a big surprise to have this type of motif from Latin America and South America in a game about Spain and Portugal. Last but certainly not least is Quaxly. And we actually know a lot about Quaxly. So we know that Quaxly is going to be a dancer, sort of like a mix between a carnival dancer and sort of like a Spanish dancer, and is a very masculine looking final form. We've actually seen a lot of pictures of the final form blurred out, and we can sort of recreate it too, which we have in a later image here. And Quaxly also is going to be a water and fighting type, which is fantastic offensive typing. So that's going to be great. So I think this guy is going to be pretty good overall. And yeah, we already talked about it, but this is like a carnival looking peacocking outfit that Quaxly is going to be. And we actually have an image of Quaxly's final form here. So we got the blurred out head of Quaxly's final form, and we also got the back of it. And with that, you can essentially make out the entire Pokemon. So this Quaxly here with the back image is having a Terra effect on it as well. We don't know what Terra effect, but that is why it has a crystallization to it. But this is a very good head image of it. So you get that, okay, it's going to still keep that light blue, but it's going to grow out this dark blue, and then it has like this red brow to it. I will say that this final form does look very strong to me, and I think it will be a good Pokemon overall. It's hard to mess up a water and fighting Pokemon. However, I do have to say, I am unsure if we will really see the second forms, because here's an entire leak list of all of the new Pokemon coming to Scarlet and Violet if you're not familiar with this. And seriously, I think we've only seen about, what, 16 Pokemon out of the 109, which is 105 plus 4 forms. So there's a lot of Pokemon that haven't even showed us yet. Like, there's 2 more dogs that haven't showed us. There's a spider, there's a beetle, a grasshopper, a seagull. There's like so much we have not seen yet. So I really think that they're going to just keep showing us more new Pokemon lines instead of focusing on the starters, because the starters are like, they're already sold, you guys, right? Like, they don't need to do anything else. But showing us more new Pokemon is probably their best bet. And I mean, they showed off the engine Pokemon and didn't even officially show it off. It's just been in 2 trailers already. So they don't really care at the end of the day. They're going to show off whatever they want. We still don't know anything about the Paradox forms or the Tauros forms. There's like a lot of forms, or even the new evolutions of old Pokemon like Primeape, Bisharp, Dunsparce, Girafarig, which also completely, that is a real image of Girafarig evolution. So there's a lot for them to show us still. And They will show it to us eventually, but I feel like most of this will not be officially revealed. I'm just gonna guess maybe we'll get to like 30 Pokemon officially shown off before the game comes out. Well, guys, let me know in the comment section below what do you think is gonna be in the next trailer. I really think that we're gonna be getting like 3 or 4 new Pokemon, and they're gonna show up the camping mechanic. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Please leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out, and have a great one.